Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the very first session in BoS for Success series for Intermediate Paper 1 Accounting today. We have with us Director Board of Studies. She will be guiding you about the tips for preparation and strategy for facing the examination and what is the significance of accounting in the Chartered Accountancy curriculum. So I would like to hand over the session to ma'am.
Thank you, Seema. Thank you, Asha. Good afternoon, students. It's really a very heartening time to be associated with all of you because BOS is there for the students and you are the heart of the BOS, right? So Board of Studies without students is nothing. And we are trying to take care of all the aspects which will help you in understanding the subjects, and we are trying to come out with very many initiatives through which your queries are getting resolved and you are able to do your you get the understanding of the subject in the best of the manners, right? So students, I just would like to apprise you that our mock test series 1 has already been over yesterday for intermediate students, and the second mock test series is going to start from 5th of April 2023. All those who were not able to attempt the mock test series 1, I'll advise all of you to attempt this particular series, mock test series 2, right? These series for each paper is going to give you an hindsight as to what type of questions are going to be asked. And once you attend these questions during the tenure of the exam time, like from 2 to 5, that's the time we have kept so that you can go to the nearest branches and the regional councils and you can sit over there, have a feel of the exam time. Since you are not sitting at home, you are at the branch or at the regional council, which will also give you a feeling of exam center, right? And try attempting the question in that particular time. This is the time when you will attempt the question with your own hands in the examination conditions. You will be able to cope up during the exam time in the month of May. At that time, you will not feel as if I'm coming to the exam center and they'll know me, and you will not face any type of, say, pressure on yourself, because you know you are able to plan the way you have to do the paper and which question to pick up first and which question to take up towards the end. Students, I also would like to tell you, accounting is a very, very practical paper. And I know the way we have seen the trend, students are doing well in accounts and in other practical papers, rather as compared to the theory papers. So accounting being the first paper, and this first paper is a practical oriented paper, so you should be aware about the accounting standards and the treatment, how you have to give it in the your questions, because practically questions will be asked from you. You should know how to apply the accounting standards and how to really do the steps in each question. So the first tip which I would like to give you is that when you read the question, when you read all the questions during the 15 minutes time, when you have been given the reading time, so that you are able to assess which question you are going to attend first and which one you are going to do the second place. So that is the time you can strategize that I should start with the question which I know the best. But it doesn't mean the question you know the best, you're going to devote 1 hour in that. Rather, you should try planning all your questions for a half an hour period, right? Do not spend too much time on one question. The question you know very well, it doesn't mean that you have to devote too much time. Devote the time equally so that towards the end you have some spare time and where you can revise. Where have you gone wrong? You can check the steps which you have missed also. And one more thing is very important in the accounts paper is tallying the balance sheet is not the important thing. Rather, if your balance sheet doesn't tally, it doesn't mean you're not going to get marks. Fine. So you're only 1 mark or such type of marks will be only deducted. Rather, your steps should be correct. You should do the steps in such a manner that your each, whichever are the steps, like what is the question asked from you, you should note down that what are the basic intricacies in that question and what has been asked from you. Be very sure as to what has been asked from you in the accounts paper, because this is one area you should know where I have to pass the entry and what type of treatment I have to give it over there and what is the adjustment entry I have to do. You should know all those things very thoroughly and make it a point that all your steps should form part of your answer. Do not do the steps in the rough sheet, because what you are doing should come in the main answer sheet. So your answer sheet should cover all the steps and you will be marked accordingly, right? The tips regarding the paper, how really to attempt, how to rather deal with the queries which are coming in the question. Seema and Asha will be taking care of that. So do not hesitate in asking any of the queries from them. They are there for you. Board of Studies is always there for you. So, and we are, like I said in the yesterday's session also, that we are taking one step ahead and we are always there for you. You have to take two steps ahead and just take the best advantage of what BOS is giving to you, right? You don't have to go anywhere. We are doing our live coaching classes. The live coaching classes, they are the live sessions. Try attending them live only so that your queries get resolved. In case you are having any difficulty, what you can also do is you can see the recorded lecture, right? And in your next class, you can ask from the faculty as to where you have not able to understand. You can post that query over there, right? So that is going to help you clear your doubts. You will have the conceptual clarity as to what the standard, because what is standard? Standard is how really to take any situation, you have to take care as to how you have to do the accounting for. And we are having standards for each accounting treatment. That is what, so do not feel that standard is going to tell you something different. No, it is going to tell you what is the peculiarity of dealing with that particular situation. So that is what the standards are for. And you should not feel rather scared as to if the accounting standard is there, I'm not able to remember the standard, the nomenclature. I'm not able to remember which is the number. You're not able to. Don't worry on that count. Just don't quote the wrong standard. Give that as per accounting standard. If you know that it is for this particular purpose, it is for accounting policy or it is for inventory, you can just say as per the accounting standard, inventories have to be, the treatment to be given is in this manner, and you write down the steps. Okay. So don't worry as to your standard name or standard number you're not aware of. If you are not sure, don't quote that. That is really going to help you in dealing with the questions during the exam time. Secondly, what I'll tell you is about a mock test papers. I've already told you, you must do it and do not use calculator only. I am not saying that you don't have to use calculator while doing the questions, but don't do the steps only on calculator. Write down on the paper, do the steps, then only you'll be very, very confident, right? Third thing is about the ebooks. Students, ebooks are there for your benefit. Now, what we have done, theory as well as practical papers, what we have done, we have come out with the audios. So if you are traveling, you are going to your traveling and in the on your way, you feel that you have time with you. You want to understand the concept of a standard, right? You can listen to the audio version of it. That will tell you as to how to make use of that particular standard, how to apply it. So listening at times, what happens is all the time you are not able to read. So once you are listening, it is there in your mind. It is imprinted. And those short notes you can make in hand also, right? For your own examination time, you can make use of that, right? So make use of the ebooks. You can make your notes in the ebooks. which will get saved also, so that during the exam time, before the exam time, you are able to brush up your all your chapters, and that too in no time, right? And another thing, students, what I'm saying is that about the practical training assessment. In case you have done one of the groups and you have already started with your articleship, and if you have completed first year and second year of your articleship, I advise you to register yourself for the practical training assessment also. This will help you in honing your skills. You will start applying as to what you have learned during your practical training. So attend those tests also, because that's again going to make you very, very strong in the concepts. Students, another thing which I would also like to tell you is that our suggested answers for November 22 attend have already been uploaded on the BoS Knowledge Portal. Revisionary test papers for May 23 have also been uploaded. So make use of all these resources and try revising and practicing. So practice, practice. See, practice makes a man perfect, right? Without practice, orally doing it is not going to help you. Especially, I'll say, for practical papers, you need to do it with your own hand, and also in theory papers. Just don't think that you have read it, it is there in your mind. If you write, see, writing is trying to rather another, our sixth sense gets more activated. If you write, you'll be able to recollect everything during the exam time. So, what you are going to do is practice, take out the questions from the material, from the mock test, from the suggested, from the revisionary test papers, and see where you have gone wrong. Don't see the answer first, see the answer after you have done the question, and then compare it with the answer which we have given it to you. See which step you are missing, where you have gone wrong. I'm telling you, such type of mistakes will not occur in the exam. So students, be very, very careful when you are reading the questions. Don't read hurriedly. Note down the points and attempt with a cool mind. Your mind should be fresh, because if your mind is fresh, you feel ideas will come in your mind. Your mind is able to think rather more pragmatically. So be very strong on your concepts. Be very thorough with the concepts. And also, students, we have also come out with the capsules. And for your exam time, we have come out with the booklet on accounting, which is covering all the accounting standards, which you can brush through, and you'll be able to recollect in the exam time that, yeah, this is the way I have to do the treatment. In case any of your queries get unresolved during this time, we are having the BoS mobile app. I hope all of you would have uploaded, rather you would have downloaded the mobile app in your mobiles. Make use of that, because it is giving you everything what you want from Board of Studies. What are the updates? Everything is being given over there. And another thing which is very important is ask your query section in the BoS mobile app. In case during, say, your preparation in the next month or before the exam, you are struck up somewhere, pose that question in the ask your query section, and our faculty is always there for you. They'll respond to you and your query will get resolved. So, towards the end, I'll wish all of you best of luck. Keep working hard, and I'm giving the now the mic is to the to CA Seema and CA Asha. They are there for you and they'll walk you through the subject, and I wish you all a happy learning. Thank you very much. Over to Seema and Asha.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing such great, valuable suggestions to the students. I think the students will definitely gain benefit from these. And mock test papers are really very helpful while preparing for the examination. They are the rehearsal. They give the idea to the students how to attempt the questions, how to attempt the examination question paper in the stimulated examination conditions. Students, you can Contact the branches for appearing in the branches for giving the examination in exactly the similar situations like we appear in examination centers. Or you can also download the mock test papers which have been already hosted for series 1, and then you can compare the answers with the answers provided in our website. So they are the very useful while preparing for the examination, because unless and until we attempt the question paper and we cannot know that what are the areas where we are lacking and what are the problematic topics where we are not able to give the satisfactory answers. Accounting standards, as ma'am has rightly said, they are the core heart of the accounting paper, because if we are not thorough in the accounting standards, if we are not thorough with the provisions of the accounting standards, many of the topics we are not able to give the satisfactory answers in the examination. Like there are so many topics in our accounting curriculum which are connected with the accounting standards, like accounting standard 13, valuation of inventories, valuation of investments, and AS2, valuation of inventories. They are somehow connected with the topic of investments. So you have to, unless until you have the knowledge of these particular accounting standards, you cannot give the justice to the problems which are given in the topic of valuation of investments. So you have to be very thorough with the standards. So there have been certain queries which we are receiving. We will answer those queries.
Alok is asking, what are the most common mistakes by the students in paper 1?
Yeah. The common mistakes, like as we have already mentioned, as ma'am has mentioned, that the students generally do not give the working notes. Some students also ask that whether working notes should be given along with the answer, they should be given before the answer or after the answer, after the main answer. Suppose a question asks you to prepare the balance sheet of a company. Then the required working notes should be given along with the balance sheet. It hardly matters whether you give the working notes before the balance sheet or after the balance sheet, but they should be given. It should not be like this, that you calculate the figures on the calculator and give the final figures in the answer sheet. That would not suffice the purpose, because the evaluator should know how you have arrived those figures. So that type of mistake should be avoided. Then we have the questions based on accounting standards. As you know, that question number 1, which is a compulsory question of 20 marks, where we are supposed to answer the question based on the accounting standards which are covered in our curriculum. There are 8 accounting standards which are covered in the curriculum: AS1, AS2, AS3, AS10, AS11, AS12, AS13, and AS16. So these accounting standards, we should be very thorough. We should be very thorough with the provisions of these accounting standards. Now, what happens in the examination? Suppose a question gives us a scenario. The question gives us a practical situation where either the accountant has done some treatment which is incorrect, and you are asked to comment on the validity of you are asked to give the judgment of the accounting treatment given in the question, or maybe you are not provided with any of the treatment and you are asked that this is a practical solution, this is a scenario, and this has happened, and now you are required to give the correct accounting treatment. Sometimes what happens, we are not able to judge which accounting standard to this problem relates to. So first of all, we should understand that the connected accounting standard, we should judge the correct accounting standard, then only we would be able to give the required answer. Para number, if you do not remember, no worry. We are not supposed to write the para number unless
number, AS number, and other details which are for the accounting standard. We just want to know whether you are able to understand the provisions of accounting standards, and would you be able to apply those provisions in the particular situation which is provided to you.
Yeah, very true. Like we are not supposed to give the, even if you are not remembering the AS number, however, I think every student is generally familiar with the accounting standard number. But still, if you are not remembering, you are not, you become nervous, you become panic, and you are not remembering the exact accounting standard number, you just write this is a standard based on valuation of inventory, standard based on property, plant, and equipment. That would also suffice the purpose. But you should not write AS10, valuation of inventory. That will become a blunder.
Don't quote the wrong AS number or wrong para number. It will give you the deduction in the marks, na?
That will give a bad impression and definitely will lead to reduction in marks. So this type of mistake is being generally committed by the students. And moreover, what they do in the problems based on accounting standards, they give the correct accounting treatment. They connect the problem with the relevant accounting standard, but they do not substantiate their answer with the proper conclusion and reasoning thereof. Even if they give the conclusion, they do not provide the reasoning why it has been done and why this situation relates to this particular accounting standard. If you are not able to justify, if you are not able to substantiate your answer, then definitely you will lose marks. So as far as working notes are concerned, they are very important.
Always conclude your AS based questions.
And as far as accounting stand based questions are concerned, you have to conclude your answers properly in the required manner. You have to understand what is the requirement of the accounting standard. Now, what happens in last time examination, there was a one question based on where the students were asked to prepare the ledger accounts relating to redemption of debentures. But the students, they are more familiar with journal entries because generally in most of the examination, the question based on redemption of preference shares or redemption of debentures, the students are not asked to give the ledger accounts, but they are asked to give the journal entries. So without reading the question, without reading the complete question, what is being required in the question, they just gave the journal entries and complete 8 marks question. They were just allotted 0 marks.
We always advise the students to please proper utilize the 15 minutes which is provided you for reading the question paper and underline the requirement of the question.
Yeah, because if you have understood the requirement of the question, then you may be able to judge what particular question you are attempting at first, and what will be the sequence of the questions which you will be attempting.
Without reading the requirement of the questions, now students try to solve it and give the note as per the requirement of the questions.
And then formats. Formats are very important. Like in preparation of financial statements of corporate entity, if the question relates with preparation of financial statements of a company, maybe it's a question of bonus or right issue, maybe it's a question of redemption of preference shares, redemption of debentures, or DAC chapter 4 question.
Any type of question which is related to the companies.
Then you
have to prepare your balance sheets as per the schedule 3 format only. The Vrishin is also asking, ma'am, how should we present paper one? Suppose if the format is used, can we use margin?
In margin means like whatever in the sheet, whatever margin is being given. Generally, we do not use that margin. But if you think that your answer is going too much and that is going space is less, then you can use it. But try to avoid the use of margins. Reduce the font size of your writing. Reduce the font size. Maybe that will help.
That's why we are always advising students to do your practice with the pen and paper. Do practice lot and wrote written practice you should have to do for the practical based questions now, not just read the question. When you prepare your questions and when you prepare your preparation for examination through writing now, then it will be more comfortable you during the time of the examination.
One more thing what you can do, like if we are attempting the questions in the registers or notebooks, then maybe that habit may not be attained, because in answer sheet the size of the paper, the size of the sheet may be different from length and breadth both. So you can take the sample answer sheet from the market and from stationery shops you can get it, and then you can attempt the questions in those answer sheet. Then you will have an idea that what margin you are using and what type of the space you are having less. But I think generally this does not happen.
Iqbal is asking if there is any deviation in the answer due to the decimal calculation. For the decimal, we
round off up to 3 digits in any of these questions, and you can give a note that it has been rounded off. That's it. Otherwise, you will not lose marks because of just rounding off.
Deviti wants to know, please give the strategy to score the 70 plus marks in the accounts.
Strategy to Aditi, strategy is only that that you have to be very thorough with the concepts, and you have to do adequate practice of the questions given in the study material, RTPs, suggested answers,
Try
and
to
our
attempt
mock
the
test.
MTPs.
And mock
More
test.
and more MTPs attemptation is very required for you.
One series of mock test paper is already available on our BoS knowledge portal, and second series will be starting from 5th April. अभी आपने जो किया है अटेम्प्ट, उससे आपको ये पता चल गया होगा कि कौन कौन से टॉपिक्स में आप कंफर्टेबल नहीं थे. मे बी आपका तब तक सिलेबस पूरा नहीं हुआ हो. नाउ यू कैन read those topics again where you were lacking last MTPs, and now you can attempt those questions also in a very scoring manner, so you can score more marks. But the preparation of all the topics, reading all the topics, practicing questions from all the topics, that is very important, Aditi. Because if you leave any of the topic, then we cannot guarantee you that you will score 70 plus marks.
We already provided the section wise and skill wise weightage, so it will be very helpful for you while the preparing for the paper 1 accounting. The Mahesh is asking, is the para number essential for attempting the answer or not?
PAN number of accounting standard, we have already mentioned. The PAN number of accounting standard is not necessary to be mentioned in the answers. If you know the correct PAN number, if you can relate the question with the correct PAN number, then you quote. Otherwise, you can just skip. You can just say as per the provisions of the accounting standard, so and so.
Harmisha is also asking, ma'am, if in AS treatment has been asked, then we have to explain in para form or write the journal entries.
It depends upon the requirement of the question. If the question asks you to prepare journal entries, then definitely you will have to give journal entries. If the question asks you to give just the correct accounting treatment, then you have to give the correct accounting treatment. And if the question asks you to give the concluding part, like what should be the value which should be given in the financial statements, or what should be the amount of provision which should be created, give a note to account for this particular situation. For AS1 question, generally the students are being asked to give the proper disclosure in the form of notes to accounts. So that particular answer should be given in the question. Everything depends on the requirement of the question.
That's why we always advise you read the question paper very carefully and thoroughly and underline the requirement of the question. Ganesh is asking, investment account format is too broad. Can we do it on the 2 papers subsequently?
Investment accounting format is not too broad, where it is only 6 column.
Try in the landscape, na?
You can give in the landscape format. If you are going beyond the portrait format, you can give in the landscape format. But I don't think it will look nice if you use 2 sheets along left and right. But if it's a very genuine case and you're not able to complete it in the single paper, then you can use it. There is no, as such, there is no problem. But sometimes you may face difficulty while attempting the question in the 2 sheets format, because then you make it may become difficult for you while calculation are to be done.
Akash is asking, ma'am, is it compulsory to prepare working notes at the end of the questions? We have already explained you that you have to provide it the working notes. You can provide it in between or before the question, but you have to give in the working notes.
Like answer should always be supported by the working notes. Sometimes what happens, the question requires you to prepare a particular main answer to be given. Like if the question requires you to prepare branch account, any of the things which are coming in the calculation for the postings which you are giving in the branch account, for all those postings, suppose a goods supplied or to goods received from head office, wherever the calculations are to be calculated, either you give there itself, or if it's cumbersome, you're not able to provide there, then you have to give the working notes. It depends. But for each and every calculation, how you have calculated it, that has to be given properly in your answer.
Abhishek is asking, ma'am, in the accounts paper, should we use scale for drawing the format, or I can draw without it because it can be
You can just fold the answer sheet. And while you will be folding the answer sheet like this, you will get
a crease between the paper. There will be a crease and it will be helpful.
And this will serve the purpose of your drawing a line. So you will not be required to draw a line, even if you just do make a crease out from the paper.
Tanisha is asking, can we draw the margin with pencils?
I think there is no such problem. You can draw the margin from pencil.
Anish is asking, can we underline and mark any important point in the question paper given?
I think there is only one pen which is being allowed in the examination. So underline you can do, but without using a different pen, different colored pen. That you cannot make use of. And my dear students, step marks are always being given while evaluation. So do not worry, even if your balance sheet is not being tallied, or if your final calculation, you are somewhere in doubt whether it's correct or not. But for each and every step, you will definitely gain marks. And wherever you are, you have done something wrong, only for that particular step, your marks will be deducted. It will not be like this, that if your balance sheet is not tallied and it's a question of 20 marks, so you will lose all the 20 marks in spite of doing all the calculations and all the giving all the notes to accounts. And one more thing is that even tallying of the balance sheet is not a proof in itself that your answer is correct, because whatever debit or credit, whatever plus or minus you have done, you may have done wrongly, and even if your answer is incorrect, the balance sheet may have tallied. So it is not a conclusive evidence that your answer is correct. Sometimes what happens, the students after taking the examination, they come out of the examination hall and they say that my answer is completely correct. This question was perfectly okay for me because I got the balance sheet tallied. But what you have put in asset category, what you have put in equity and liability category, what amount you have done, if you have done same amount on both sides incorrect, then also your balance sheet will tally. Then they will say then the marks have been deducted, even my answer was correct. So that thing should not be there. You should know what is the exact, what should be the ideal procedure for solving the question, and that only you can do by doing more and more practice, and by comparing your answers. Reading the answers will not suffice the purpose. If you read the answer, then you think that I will be able to solve in the examination. But when you write the answer by your own hand in the examination hall, then you are fumbled. You are not able to answer the question. Sufficient practice of the questions only will make you familiar with the questions in the examination question paper, and then that will give you more confidence, and definitely I think that will give you more score also.
Ma'am, Aarti is asking, does clear and neat handwriting matters? Definitely it matters.
It matters, but not ऐसा नहीं है कि आप नीट राइटिंग के चक्कर में क्वेश्चन पेपर ही ना पूरा कर पाए. तो इट मैटर्स.
होना चाहिए कि जो आपका एग्जामिनर आपका पेपर चेक कर रहा है उसको समझ में तो आए कि आपने लिखा क्या है.
It should be readable. The writing should be readable. It hardly matters whether it's बहुत neat or नहीं, but it should be readable. It should be quite readable, and it should be understood by the evaluator. What is our main purpose of writing the answers in the examination? Our main purpose is that the evaluator can see our answers. He can read the answers and give us the marks which we definitely need.
Uday is asking, should we skip few lines remaining to next page for different answer?
Yes, you can start the different question. You can start the fresh question from fresh page if there are only very less space which is being left in the previous answer.
Shri Sai is asking, ma'am, how many minutes should we take to complete a question?
Around 25 minutes. Around 25 minutes you can take. However, in question number 1, generally the students take more time because it's based on accounting standards and there are 4 parts. So that question you may take 35 or 30 minutes, but for rest of the questions you should allot only 25 minutes. Some questions may take more time. What happens exactly is, suppose
that's called the time management.
Yeah, that's called the time management. Sometimes what happens that I have decided that I will attempt question number 2, 3, 5 and 6. But when I start working on question number 5, then in between I get difficulty in attempting the answer. Maybe some part or some adjustment is there which I am not comfortable with. I have to leave that question and then I have to start the fresh question number 4, which I had earlier decided not to attempt. So this type of wastage of time may occur in the examination, and we have to resolve such time gaps also. So that is the reason we are giving 10-15 minutes margin so that we can utilize that time again for attempting the fresh question.
Because time is limited and you have to complete the whole paper within the limited time only.
That practice is very necessary. That is why we are advising you to attempt mock test papers, and you can also attempt previous examination question papers also. From suggested answers, you can see the answers, and previous examination question papers you can download and attempt those questions in the stimulated examination conditions. They will also give you an idea that how much time you are taking for each question. Then you can see like whether you are able to attempt the question in 20-25 minutes or 30 minutes or not. Because if it is 30 minutes, then again you may not have that much of margin for each and every question, because some questions may generally take more time, like accounting science based question or preparation of financial statements question. Sometimes that may take more time. So first of all, we have to judge what time we are supposed to give for a particular question, and then we have to prioritize accordingly. Like what question we will take first and what question we will take next.
Someone is asking, is it okay to write with the combination of blue and black pen? I think only blue is
Only one pen is allowed.
blue.
Black, I think.
Black.
Only one pen is allowed. You just write the query to accounting-inter@isa.in or ask a query. I will answer in that. I will just take a confirmation. But I think only single pen is allowed in the examination.
Most of the students are asking about the color of the pen.
Okay.
And someone, Ganesh, is asking, can we write the short forms in the working notes? For example, the PES for preference shares.
No, it's not advisable. It's not advisable. If there are so many times you have to use preference shares, then at least at first you should write preference shares bracket PS, and then you can use it, but in very limited case when you are really short of time. Otherwise, you should not use it. Now, let us discuss the structure of the question paper, which is very important. Many of the students would like to, who are appearing for the intermediate paper 1 accounting for the first time in May 23 examination, they would definitely like to hear that what is the structure of the question paper and what is the weightage of the topics assigned in the curriculum, like what weightage should we give for a particular topic and how we can proceed for its preparation. So now come back to the structure of the question paper. So as you know that for May 23 examination, all the relevant notified sections of the Companies Act 2013 and legislative amendments which have been issued up to the date of 31st October 22 will be applicable for May 23 examination. So I think this we will come to this slide later. First of all, we focus on the structure of the question paper, because
most of the students are asking how to prepare for the examination, how to make strategy to clear this exam.
And majority of the students are interested in knowing about the structure of the question paper. For structure of the question paper, you can also see our mock test, our examination question papers, and November 22 paper, you can also see the CST answer have been uploaded. You see that question paper has 6 questions in total, 20 marks each, where question number 1, we have already told you that this question number 1 is based on accounting standards and which is a mandatory question. And out of the remaining 5, you have to attempt any 4 of the questions. For this choice only, like out of the remaining 5, you have to attempt 4. That choice, you can make use of the 15 minutes reading time which is being allotted to you. And you can decide which questions you are going to attempt and which questions you are going to leave. There may be internal choice in any of the questions. There may be a question where the language of the adjustment given in the question gives scope of 2 or more assumptions. So in that particular case, like in case of valuation of investment also, only, you are not sure that whether you are you have to follow LIFO method or whether you have to follow average cost method while valuing the investments at the year end. You are not given any clear-cut instruction in the question paper. So in that particular situation, you will have 2 choices which to go for. You can make either the average cost basis as the basis of valuation, and you can give your answer accordingly, but you have to mention your assumption very clearly in the answer. You have to state very clearly that this particular assumption we have followed and I have given my answer accordingly. Some student was asking about whether all the assumptions which we are taking are supposed to be given in the answer. Yes, definitely yes, because the answer may vary based on your assumption. If you are taking the other method of valuation, then answer will vary. And if you are taking the average cost basis, the answer is definitely something else. So as part of the evaluation process, all the alternative assumptions are being considered in the answers, in the solutions, which are the basis for evaluation. And your answer will also be considered deemed fit for that particular purpose. But you have to state very clearly that what basis you have followed while preparing the answer. So this is about the pattern of the question paper. In question number 1, which is based on accounting standards, we are having section 1. Section 1 is basically a total accounting standards. Chapter 1, chapter 2 and chapter 3. Chapter 1 you have introduction to accounting standards. Chapter 2 you have framework. Chapter 3 is application of accounting standards and applicability of the accounting standards to corporate and non-corporate entities. Then we have section 2. In section 2, what we are covering, let me show you. In section 2, we are covering chapter 9, investments, chapter 10, this is chapter 9, this is chapter 10 and chapter 11. So now you must know that what type of questions will be asked from this particular topic in the examination. Like from investment, 10 marks or 12 marks question is being generally asked. Insurance claim, if it's a loss of stock case, then definitely 6 or 8 marks question. And if it's a loss of profit question is being asked, then it may be the question of 12 marks also. In hire purchase, the question is generally of 4 or 5 marks. Sometimes the question is being asked for 8 marks from this particular topic. So you have to know while preparing for a particular topic, what type of questions are being expected from this particular topic. If we are familiar with that, if we know that, then definitely it will help us in preparing for that particular topic. So coming back, in question number 2, as we have rightly said, that we have 2 parts which are based on section 2, and the permutation combination of marks may vary. It may be 10 plus 10 or 12 plus 8. As I told you, that depending upon the requirement of the question which is being selected from a particular topic, the marks may vary. Then we have question number 3, where we are covering section 3. In section 3, we are having departmental accounting, branch account and account from incomplete records. Chapter 12, 13 and 14. Out of this, again, we have the set parameter for selecting the question. Out of branch, generally, more weightage is being given. If it's a foreign branch question, then definitely 12 marks question may be asked on this particular topic. Otherwise, normal branch, 8 marks, or department, 8 marks. And accounts from incomplete records, again, may be a full-fledged question of 15 marks, or a 4 or 5 marks question may be asked from this particular segment. It means that you have to prepare for each and every topic. You cannot skip either branch or department or account from incomplete records. So then we have question number 4, where we are covering section 4. Section 4 is significantly important in the curriculum of paper 1 accounting because it covers entire company accounts portion. Chapter 4, Chapter 5, Chapter 6, Chapter 7 and Chapter 8. It means entire module 2 is being covered in section 4. And the weightage of marks which is being allotted to this particular question is 20 marks, and one full-fledged question is to be asked on this particular topic. So we know that from chapter 4, definitely the question will be asked based on preparation of financial statements. But sometimes it has happened that the question is being asked either from pre and post incorporation for 20 or 16 marks. But general tendency is that, the general trend is that question will be based on preparation of financial statements of company, and that will be given as a complete full-fledged question to you. So you have to be very thorough with schedule 3. You have to be very thorough with all the notes to accounts. You have to be familiar with the classification of a particular item, where it will go, and then only you can prepare the statement of profit and loss and balance sheet. Then we have question number 5, where we are covering section number 2 and 4, maybe a combination of 3 or 4. So basically, except section 1, all the sections are being covered here. As a syllabus, we are trying to divide for the section wise weightage and for the marks accordingly. We have divided the syllabus into 4 sections, and except section number 1, all the sections are being covered here. Again, the marks will be based on the requirement of the question, but the question will consist of 2 parts generally, and it's not always there. It may be there for 3 parts or 4 parts, but definitely the requirement of the question will not be more than the marks which has been assigned to it,
So
and not
students
be
are
less than
asking,
that.
if there is more than one part, more than 2 parts, then they are required to complete all the parts. Is it necessary to complete all the parts?
If a question contains 1 or 2 part, then definitely if you are selecting that particular question, you have to attempt all the parts of that particular question. You cannot do that like one part of one particular question and then another part of another question. That you cannot do.
But if he attempts only one part, the marks will be given to the.
No, if you are attempting only one part, then definitely for the another part you will not get any marks. You will lose the marks for that particular
Try
part.
to choose that question in which you can complete all the parts.
मेरे प्यारे बच्चों, ये जो हो रहा है ना, वो इसलिए हो रहा है कि हमने सारे टॉपिक्स नहीं पढ़े हैं. अगर हम सारे टॉपिक्स पढ़ के चलेंगे, अगर हमने सारे टॉपिक्स को प्रिपेयर किया होगा ना, तो इस तरीके के सवाल जो आपके मन में आ रहे हैं वो आएंगे नहीं. तो प्लीज रिमेन.
Someone is asking, is it very difficult to complete all the questions 2 days before the exam? How can we revise all the entire syllabus? That means you have not prepared yet, ना? आपने अभी तक बुक्स उठा के भी नहीं देखी हैं.
अभी आपके पास 40 days हैं. Still you are having the time of 40 days. So अभी भी कुछ नहीं बिगड़ा. You can start your preparation, but there are other subjects also. Definitely, I don't know what is the status of your preparation in the other subjects. But still, for accounting, I can say that even if you have studied it once and you just want to brush up your concepts, you just want to revise your concepts, the time is not less. You can take the study material now. You can go for quick references which have been hosted on the website under BoS knowledge section, and you can read those. I think they are giving a complete summary of the topics in such a wonderful manner that you will attain the clarity in the minimum time period.
And now you can properly utilize this 40 days, make a proper timetable, how you can use the 40 days, and how can you will be able to give the at least one complete revision, one complete thorough study, and after that you can give at least minimum 2 revisions.
Now the time is very less. I think they will not be able to do 2-3 revisions.
One
But-
revision, for the one revision time can be there. na?
because there is no not only accounting, we don't know the status of the other subjects also. They have to revise other subjects also. But at least if you have done the thorough study of the topic previously, then you can revise it now and at least make a habit of doing 4 or 5 questions from each particular topic. Similar questions you can leave if you are seeing that out of these 10 illustrations, 4 or 5 illustrations are completely new. They are based on the different concept, and these 3-4 illustrations are similar to the ones which I have already solved. So you can skip those illustrations, but the remaining ones definitely you will have to solve. So this is about question number 4 and question number 5. Question number 5, we are already suggesting that the question may be based on any of the sections except section number 1. Then we have question number 6, where one part on section 1 and one part may be on section 2 or 3 and 2 parts on section 4. It means more than 30 marks question may be asked from section 4, because 20 marks question complete full-fledged question. Then we have again in question number 5 maybe 10 marks or 12 marks question. Now 30 and plus question number 6, again 2 parts. That means 10 more. 40 marks are the minimum marks which are being asked in from this particular section 4, which is based on company accounts. That means chapter 4 to chapter 8. So after studying about, after reading the structure of the question paper, after knowing the suggested pattern of the questions, after knowing the skill-wise and section-wise weightage of the questions, I think we are able to justify, we are able to know that which particular topic we are supposed to give more practice, we are supposed to give more time. And this is very crucial because this topic is also very crucial because in the practical world also, you have to you have to understand the financial statements, you have to prepare the financial statements of the corporate entities. And if you're not thorough with this particular topic at intermediate level, you will not be able to go for the final level. You will not be able to solve the problems on the final level, where you will be judged based on the more advanced accounting standards, that is India's. They are more complicated, they are a little bit more difficult, and where the extent of the coverage is more in that particular scenario. So it's always advised to be thorough with whatever is being given in the study material for the topics which are covered. Do not skip any of the topic and do thorough practice of all the questions which are being provided to you as a question bank, either in the form of study material or in the form of MTP or RTP or suggested answers. So this is about the structure of the question paper.
Someone is asking, as question 1, which is compulsory, should we attempt at the beginning or at the end?
It is not hard and fast rule that you are supposed to attempt question number 1 at the beginning. If you are comfortable with that, you attempt in the beginning. If you are not very comfortable, you may attempt at the end. But question number 1 is a question which you are definitely which you are definitely supposed to attempt, because there is no choice. You cannot leave that particular question. आपको attempt तो करना ही है. आप बाद में करें या फिर starting में करें.
Anish is asking, can we interchange sub questions?
Sub questions you cannot interchange. Sub question interchange means ki, like
Options
if I am attempting question number 2 part A and question number 3 part B, that means that is interchanging. That to be
while taking the option ना कि option में एक का ये सब part ले लिया, एक option का ये सब part ले लिया.
नहीं, that to we cannot do. If we are selecting a particular question, then we have to attempt all 2 or 3 whatever the parts are there for that particular question. Then you have to attempt even all the parts of a particular question should be attempted in one go. Like if I have started question number 2, then I have to attempt both the parts of question number 2 first, and then I can proceed for question number 3 or 4, because otherwise that part will be I will lose marks for that particular part. That part may not be evaluated by the evaluator. It is a clear-cut instruction in the answer sheet that all the parts of a particular question should be attempted at one place. So I think your doubt are resolved now.
Revati is asking, sometimes it happens that main question, suppose question number 2 and question number 3, that contains 4 subparts. Each, but some subparts are the such that we could not confident. but some contains other subparts in which we lose our confidence. So how to select the main question which to be attempted?
That is the planning. That is the planning actually, because that depends upon your preparation. If you have prepared all the topics very well.
Also depend upon the marks allotted to the question. If one question have the two parts, one is containing 12 and other is 8, and another question have three parts, 4, 4 or 5, 5, and if the more, if he जितने ज़्यादा का वो attempt कर पाएंगे, then he should select that one ना.
आपको ये देखना पड़ेगा कि आपका जो टॉपिक प्रिपेयर है, जिस टॉपिक पे आप ज्यादा कंफर्टेबल हो, वो टॉपिक कितना आपको वेटेज दे रहा है, कितने मार्क्स आपको प्रोवाइड कर रहा है. बट फिर भी आई विल ट्राई, माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, आई विल एडवाइज यू दैट ट्राई टू डू ऑल द क्वेश्चंस in the examination, and please decide whatever question you are going to attempt in first go, because here and there if you will be going now, like question 2 I will start first and leave that question, cut it out, then again coming back to question number 3 or 4, that will just give a wastage of time. Your time will be wasted and you will not be able to attempt the question paper in the.
Aishwarya is asking, is it necessary to write the heading in every question? For example, in the books of XYZ.
It is advised to write, like suppose a question relates to journal entries in the books of so and so company. So what you will do, you will just start the journal entries without giving the heading above. I think it will not look nice. You will generally mention that journal entries in the books of XYZ, and these are the journal entries.
The suggested answer and the study material in which we have provided the answers. It will be very helpful for you how you have to present your answer.
Suggested answers are the parameters. Suggested answers are the basis for evaluation. You can refer those suggested answers and you can judge that what type of the what are the ideal solutions which should be provided by the students to get good score. If we want, definitely when we are preparing, we do not want to lose our marks. We want to score at least 70% or 75%, because accounting is such a scoring paper that if we gain more marks in this paper, our percentage can boost up, and even we can compensate the loss. We can compensate the marks deficiency of the other papers also. Like as we because if we are giving group 1 or suppose other papers, if we are just we are scoring 45 or 46 marks, then to score the aggregate of 50%, we can use our increased marks in this particular paper to compensate the loss of other papers. So we should use that strategy rather than to as इस तरीके का नहीं होना चाहिए कि हमारा इसी में कम आ रहा है मार्क्स और हम बाकी पेपर्स के लिए.
We have to clear one whole group ना. So our planning should be like that कि कोई पेपर दूसरे और पेपर के मार्क्स एटलीस्ट कवर अप कर ले. Arnav is asking, ma'am, how much should we write for AS questions which are for 5 marks?
It depends. Like half a page answer, I think is sufficient. Depends upon your way of answering the question. But definitely, I would not say that if you are providing half a page answer, that would definitely give you marks. But because if you are writing wrong answer,
all the provisions,
if you are writing unnecessary explanation without giving the crux of the answer, without giving the satisfactory answer, without giving the answer which is being required in the particular question, then definitely you will not gain marks. So it is not like this that half page answer if you are providing, you will definitely gain 5 marks in that. The word
depends
count,
upon the presentation.
It depends upon the substance of the answer.
Substance of the answer.
It depends upon the substance of the answer.
Mr. Anuj is asking, do we need to write the account in every head in the ledger account?
Do we write to account? You can just use A/C. For the ledger accounts, you can just use A/C like this. It is not necessary that for each and every.
Whenever I do revision any chapter of accounting, it took me 4 to 5 hours. Kindly guide how to do revision at exam time.
At the time when we first studied a particular topic, you might have taken the lecture, or you might have attended our live classes also. Then you have understood the concept. You can prepare a short notes. You can prepare the short notes in the form of like quick reference points or something like that, whatever you want to say.
And you can also underline the point, main points which are provided in the study mat or in a question. There may be the two type of the
Actually,
similar type of questions may be there, but one different transaction may be given. So you can underline that transaction. Na?
It's always better to give a specific note of those adjustments, those peculiar adjustments, whatever the important adjustments are there. Suppose in the case of some provisions, like DRR provisioning is there, you have to say, you have to note at some place that this is a for unlisted company, this is a requirement. For other companies, this is a requirement. Whether you have to create a DRR for 10% or whether you're not supposed to create a DRR, that must be familiar to you. So you can make the notes in the form of your quick notes, and you can also refer our quick referencer. But quick referencer contains only the theoretical portion for the concepts only. But for the practical problems, whatever important adjustments are there, like in branch or in hire purchase, there may be 10 or 15 type of problems which can be asked in the examination. So what particular question, if particular question is being asked, what type of adjustment may be asked in that particular question, you can give a note for that.
It is
And you
always
can
advisable to make your notes in the crisp manner, and in which you, while reading the study material, you feel these are the important point and you should read again and again.
And just 2 days before the examination, 1 day before the examination, you can just refer your notes only.
Abhishek is asking if ledger accounts are asked in a question only in the redemption of debenture and preference share, should I prepare journal entries also?
No. If the question asks only to prepare ledger accounts, not only in redemption of preference shares, not only in redemption of debentures, but for any other topic, maybe any other topic, whatever topic is there, maybe branch or something, hire purchase. If the question asks you to prepare ledger accounts, then you should only prepare ledger accounts. You should not focus. You should not give any of the journal entries. But if the question asks you to give the journal entries, then you give the journal entries. So it's very important to understand the requirement of the question.
Ritika is asking, ma'am, in another question, except financial statement like hire purchase insurance claim, will there be step marking in this question also?
Step marks are there for each and every question. For each and every question, there are step marks which are being allotted. And even if your final answer, suppose the insurance claim amount as the final answer is wrong, but in between the procedure, the formula, whatever you are writing, average clause you are applying for short loss of profit, you are giving the every calculation you are doing correct, or one particular calculation if you are doing incorrect, then for that particular aspect only, for that particular portion only, you will be your marks will be deducted, but for other steps you will be getting the full marks. So don't worry, from this particular angle there is the procedure of step marking where you will get the marks for all the correct steps and you will lose the marks only for the step which is being incorrect. It's not like this, it's a 16 marks question or 20 marks question and your final answer is incorrect, then you will lose marks. You will not lose any of the marks.
Anuj is asking, do we need to draw lines while preparing every format? If we are not drawing the line, will the more marks will be deducted?
It's not like this. I think that drawing of lines is for our benefit only. While writing the answers, if we draw the lines, even if for the rough answers when we solve and we are giving the rough answers for any particular account, then we definitely draw lines. Either we draw the lines or we fold the paper. That will give convenience to us only while writing the answers.
Masoom is asking, I have done all the chapters except single entry system. Is it necessary to cover all the chapters or should be more oriented to selection of the chapters?
No. You should cover this single entry topic also. This is
We
very
always
important.
advise not go for the selective study as per the pattern of the question paper. As we have discussed already with you, you have to go through all the chapters and try to cover all the topics.
There are only 14 chapters in the curriculum of Paper 1 Accounting. I do not know what is the problem with all of you. Why don't you want to study all of them? Why don't you want to prepare all the topics? Why there is such a negativity in our mind that we can leave this particular topic or we can skip this particular topic? Please try to
Change your
remain
mindset.
please try to remain distant from all the negativity. Be positive and always say that I will do the complete syllabus, I will attempt the entire questions in the question paper. When such a positive thing will be in your mind, when such positive vibrations will be in your mind, definitely your such type of thinkings, whatever questions you are writing to us, those will be automatically over. You will not have any of the such type of hindrance that I will not be able to do.
ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है कि आप नहीं कर सकते. There is nothing impossible. Even the word says itself, na, I am possible.
Where there is a will, there is always a way. But you should be determined. You should be having the desire to clear the exam. Then only you will be able to.
उद्यमेन ही सिद्ध्यन्ति कार्याणि न मनोरथे ना ही सुप्तस्य सिंहस्य प्रविशन्ति मुखे ब्रेका. That means for completion of the work, you have to do the hard work. Just by thinking, it cannot be completed. You have to do hard work. You have to complete your task.
Positive thinking, hard work, determination will definitely lead to success. There is no doubt about it. But definitely you have to study from the correct sources. You have to you have to get the learning from the correct inputs, and you have to understand the concept thoroughly. You have to do more and more practice of the practice questions. Reading the problems will not give anything to you. Reading the problems will not be giving you marks, but you have to attempt the questions in the complete manner. And like rough solving is also not permitted. Rough solving means you just see whether this figure is okay or not. You just solve it. You have to attempt the questions. You have to solve the questions in the complete manner. Like whatever way we are giving you the suggested answer, whatever way we are giving the answers to the questions given in our study material. There are number of questions which are being provided to you. There are MCQs also which are being given to you as part of test your knowledge section, so that you can be having the clarity of the concepts. You can judge yourself whether you have actually understood that particular aspect or not. I think you should do all the questions from the study material, and then you can think about here and there, and you should not move your mind beyond that.
Someone is asking in question 1, is there true false also?
In question number 1, we are not having any true and false, but for particular accounting standard, like basically the question is to be framed on the accounting standards. So a particular accounting standard, it depends upon the framing of the question. If a particular accounting standard, from the provisions of the particular accounting standard, the question may be framed that these are the situations which are being given to you, and this is the treatment which are being done by the accountant, or maybe on the provisions of the accounting standards that AS2 does not permit this particular method of valuation of inventory, whether it's true or false. If it's false, then you correct it. So those type of questions may be asked in the question paper. The only thing is that the question will be based on the testing of the concept which is being involved in the accounting standard. The question may be asked to analyze the situation given in the question, and you should be able to apply the knowledge of the accounting standards by answering that particular question.
You just not given the yes or no. You have to
mention whether the scenario, whatever the fact, there may be 4 or 5 facts which is being given to you in the question, and the evaluator may be demanding you to write whether the particular accounting treatment, whether the particular fact which is being provided to you is correct or not. If it is incorrect, then you are supposed to correct it further. You are supposed to say that no, this is incorrect, but the AS says that this should be there.
Masoom is asking, ma'am, if we go through 70-80 marks coverage, it would be worth because we have many other subject to cover.
70-80 marks means you want to skip 2 or 3 topics. You want to skip 1 or 2 topics. Then only you are saying. अगर आप topics छोड़ के जाओगे, that's what I am saying, that if you leave a particular topic and you go to the examination hall, in the examination question paper, you may not be very sure that whatever topic you have prepared, you will be able to answer the question on that particular topic. Suppose you're very comfortable with departmental accounting. It's a very not involving much complications. The topic is very simple, but a particular question may be asked from that particular topic where you are not able to solve the question in the examination. आपको एडजस्टमेंट समझ नहीं आती, आपको जो उसके अंदर पर्टिकुलर्स दिए हैं, जो फैक्ट्स दिए हैं, वो आपको समझ नहीं आ रहे, आपको डिपार्टमेंट का क्वेश्चन बहुत थॉरो था, आपको था कि आई विल डेफिनेटली डू दैट पर्टिकुलर प्रॉब्लम, बट जब क्वेश्चन पेपर आया तो आपके तो देख के होश उड़ गए, आपसे डिपार्टमेंट वाला क्वेश्चन भी नहीं हो रहा। तो आप कैसे श्योर हो सकते हो कि जो टॉपिक, अभी कैसे कह सकते हो कि 14 चैप्टर्स में से अगर मैं 2 चैप्टर छोड़ के जाऊंगी तो 12 चैप्टर्स में जो क्वेश्चंस आएंगे वो मुझे 101% आते होंगे। ऐसा हो सकता है कि उन 12 टॉपिक्स में जो क्वेश्चन आए वो कुछ इस तरीके का हो, उसकी फ्रेमिंग कुछ इस तरीके की हो कि आपको रिक्वायरमेंट समझ नहीं आ रही। In that particular case, what will you do? That is the reason we always say that to prepare all the topics. Sometimes it may happen that in examination question paper, a particular topic which you are very comfortable with, you were very thorough with, but you have to leave that particular question. You are not able to क्वेश्चन पेपर में क्वेश्चन इतना छांट के आया उस टॉपिक का कि ऐसी एडजस्टमेंट्स में पूछी गई जो आपने कभी पढ़ी ही नहीं थी, मतलब आपको थोड़ी नहीं लगी, उस टाइप के क्वेश्चन आपने सॉल्व नहीं किए थे। तो दिस पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन मे हैपन विद एनी ऑफ द स्टूडेंट इन एनी ऑफ द एग्जाम, सो ऑलवेज बी रेडी फॉर दीज टाइप ऑफ कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज इफ यू आर leaving a particular topic.
Siddheshwar is asking again and again, ma'am, you have previously said that about the audiobooks for our easy. So where we can find it?
Ebooks.
Ebooks are provided in the mobile app, no?
Ebooks are there in the mobile app. I think you can download the mobile app and you can see those ebooks. And there is also a provision of making notes in the ebooks also. There is a provision of making notes in the ebooks where you can make the notes and afterwards you can refer those notes.
Someone is asking, ma'am, I have prepared thoroughly, but I was asking how to revise day before exam.
Just day, if you have prepared everything well in advance, so just before the examination, what you can do, you can refer our quick references. You can you can just read those quick references and brush up your concepts. And for accounting standards, specifically for accounting standards, you can refer all those. If you have prepared your notes, you can refer those notes. But otherwise, we have the Saransh which we have published on accounting standards. So for the applicable accounting standards, you can refer quick reference or Saransh. You will get all the provisions of the accounting standards in such a beautiful manner where you're not required to bother much. You will be able to learn it by just reading it. You will be able to revise it along with the references.
Shivangi is asking, is there any MCQs in these questions?
No, till now, at present, we do not have any MCQs in the accounting paper. We just have the proper descriptive question paper, and all the questions will be based on the descriptive manner of testing.
Barkha is asking, ma'am, if we don't attempt the question number 1, then others is not checked.
If you do not attempt question number 1 and you attempt the remaining 5 questions, so 1 question will not be checked because you have to attempt only 4 questions out of the remaining 5. Question number 1 is mandatory question. So it's
so
all
question number 1, you have no choice.
You will lose 20 marks. Straightforward, you will lose 20 marks because it's a mandatory question and you're not supposed to leave that.
Someone is asking, if there is 2 parts in the question, can I attempt second part first and part first?
That you can do. There is no difficulty in that.
Try to attempt in the one place only.
If there are 4 parts of question number 6, there are 4 parts of question number 6. So you can say, you can do like this, that 6B you can do at first, then 6A, then D, and then C. There is no, as such, there is no necessity that you have to attempt all the questions in a sequence. You can do this, but you should remember that all the parts of question number 6
are in one place only.
Have to be attempted at one place. In one go, you have to attempt, and then only you can proceed for question number 5 or 4. What?
Try to avoid just like this. You have attempted the 6B first, and after that you have attempted the question number 5, and after question number 5, again you are attempting the other remaining parts of the question.
That cannot be there. That should not be there. This we have already covered. Let's discuss it. Let me see if there are any queries which are being coming.
For MCQs, we have already replied. Masum is asking, is it necessary to total the balance of every account, or it is be more attractive to just balance the balance sheet?
Balancing of every account is always there. जब भी आप कोई अकाउंट बनाएंगे 11th-12th क्लास से ही हमें स्कूल लेवल पे ही हमें समझाया जाता है कि जब भी आप अकाउंट बनाएंगे तो उसको आप क्लोज तो करेंगे, उसका जो भी बैलेंस होगा वो या तो आप कहीं पे ट्रांसफर करेंगे, you will be transferring that balance to some other account, or you will be keeping it as a balance that will be either placed in the balance sheet under some item. So balancing of the account is very much necessary. It's a basic concept of accounting which we cannot avoid.
Alia is asking, accounting is a super scoring subject, but the important thing is the time management. Please advise some on time management. I am very stressed of that.
For the question paper time management, we have already told you that you have to decide the priority of the questions in the reading time. You have to utilize that 15 minutes time very effectively. You have to decide in that 15 times which question I am going to appear and what will be my sequence. What will be my sequence? What will be the order of attempting those questions? In between, even if you get stuck up and you have to leave that particular question and go for another questions, that much time, that much leverage of time you should be having. But still, time management is very effective because for each and every question, you should not allocate more than 27 minutes. You take more than 25 or 27 minutes for a particular question, because in certain question, you may take more time. You are stuck up in some adjustment and you may take more time, where you have to, sometimes what happens, you have to leave a particular question and you have to proceed for the another one. So even after solving the question in midway, you have to leave that question, and whatever time is being wasted on that particular question, maybe 15 or 20 minutes, that time is a lost time. So for all these type of contingencies, we have to make the provision. As an accountant also, we always make provisions for contingencies, and regarding time management also, we have to keep time for such type of contingencies in each and every situation, because we do not know where we will be stucking up.
Harmisha is asking, for the weak topics, is study material is enough?
For week, the study material is not enough, because I think the study material you cannot read in 1 week. You have already read the concepts, you have already solved the problems given in the study material. Then for 1 week time, you have to decide that for which particular topic you are supposed to give more time. At that particular time, you can only brush up your concepts. You can revise. Fatavat se you can revise all the in a hurried manner, and you can try to solve some previous examination question papers. I think in 1 week's time, that will definitely boost up your confidence. You will know where the areas where you are lacking, what are your green areas, which topics you should focus more. You can compare your answers to the suggested answers, and I think this will give you the clear-cut idea about where your performance is standing.
Puneet is asking, can we write DRR and DRRI account short forms?
Generally, we do not use such short forms, but still, if you are facing such a time where you are stuck up in some particular question and you have to solve another question again. So in that particular situation, we are running short of time, then you can use such abbreviations, but still I would like to say that still better not to use. If you can avoid these abbreviations, it's better to avoid them.
Manoj is asking, if all the questions are answered, including optional, how the marks will be given for? Is marks will be given in order of writing for last question?
In order of writing the questions in sequence, like if you are attempting question number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all 5 you are attempting, then question number 6 will not be evaluated, because the efforts of the evaluator in attempting the initial questions, they should not be wasted, na?
Yati Raj is asking, if due to one mistake in step, all the subsequent calculation is affected, but method of calculation is correct for the subsequent steps, will the marks be deducted?
Because it
Step by-
depends upon the significance of the steps. It depends upon the significance of the workings involved in each and every step. Like, take the example of insurance claim. If your final answer is wrong, then definitely you will lose the marks for that particular step. But generally, what happens for the final answer, the weightage is more. For the final answer, the marks allotted to that particular step is more. And in between the steps, for each in particular step, the marks are being allotted according to their significance. So it depends where you are lacking, where you have committed mistake, and from where the mistakes have started. If it is only in the last, second last or third last step, then only for those 2-3 steps the marks will be deducted. If from the very beginning the mistake has started and it's not a conceptual mistake, maybe a calculation mistake only, then the marks will be lost but will be deducted less. But if there is a conceptual mistake, not only of calculation, then definitely more marks will be deducted for that particular step.
Abhishek is asking, can we use first page for the rough calculations?
First page, it's not advisable to use for the rough calculation. You can use the last page. It's always advised to use the last page for the rough calculation.
Ankit is asking whether it is necessary to give narration for the journal entries in companies.
Yeah, in whatever questions you are being asked, the narrations are to be given, because without narration the entries are not complete.
If question is specifically provided, narration is not required. In that case, you can avoid the narration. Otherwise, it is always advisable to give the narrations for all the journal entries.
Sometimes the question itself says that the narrations are not required, but otherwise the narrations are compulsory. You can give short narrations, not necessarily that you have to write each and everything in the narrations, but you can use short narrations.
Arnav is asking, ma'am, if mock test papers are given at physical centers, will be the paper be checked by the teachers?
Branches generally, some branches generally give this facility of evaluation also, but otherwise you can download our answers from the knowledge portal, and then you can evaluate your answers yourself and you can see where you are lacking. But definitely certain branches have this facility. They get the paper evaluated, they keep a panel of the faculties and get the paper evaluated and come back to you.
Ilake is asking, are notes are necessary for every question?
For every question, no notes are necessary.
It depends upon the requirement.
It depends upon it depends upon the requirement of the question. Like if the question is requiring certain calculations, and for notes to accounts, basically for notes to accounts, only preparation of financial statements of companies question, you will be giving the notes to accounts. But for other working notes, wherever the question is asking for certain
example,
calculations.
investment account, you have to prepare the investment account, but for the calculation of the interest, you will have to prepare the working note.
For calculation of interest, for calculation of closing balance,
right issue, bonus.
For right issue, if not right issue, for bonus issue, right issue, whatever the concept is being involved, whatever the adjustment is being involved, and how you have calculated the profit on sale of investment, profit or loss on sale of investment, if the shares are there or bonds are there, whatsoever.
Suggested answers, MTPs, RTPs, and study material in all the types of the material which are provided by the BoS. We always provided in the answers, we always provided the working notes. You can refer them and it will be very helpful for you how to present your answer.
In fact, you can prepare the working notes first. If you want to see that whether you are able to solve the question or not, you start preparing the working notes. You will get an idea that you whether you are able to proceed for the main solution or not. If you are stuck up in the working notes, leave that question and don't waste time in preparing the other format. Maybe for investment account, maybe for preparation of financial statements, maybe for any other chapter.
I think most of the students are asking some general queries. How to attempt the question, is if they can start the questions with another page, how many lines they have to skip while starting the another answer. It's always advised
to write the separate question, to start the separate question from a separate page, from a fresh page. If there are very few lines which are being left, it's always advised, even if half a page is there, I would like to advise you that you go for the fresh page. Why to give the picture kind of answers, and give the reasonable space in between all the answers. For each and every line also, there must be little bit of space. Suppose you are ending certain working note, give one line space. It's not advisable to give the chipka kind of answer. Give the reasonable space in between the working notes, in between each and every step, so that it becomes readable.
Evaluator can easily find out now that you are providing the answer of the another question.
Yes.
Otherwise, it will be mix it up. Someone is asking, is the study material is sufficient for scoring the high marks?
Study material is sufficient subject to the condition that you solve all the questions given in the study material. Even if you're not attempting any of the RTPs, you're not attempting any of the suggested answers, you take only the latest one and you do all the questions in the study material, I think the study material will give you the good score in the examination, but subject
All
to the
the
condition.
concepts are thoroughly provided in the study material.
But subject to the condition that you have to attempt those questions
Along with the questions,
along
you
with the
have
questions.
to the thorough study of the concept. Piyush wants to know now where to access the audio clip. Piyush, you can access the audio clip through the mobile app. All the audio clips are already provided in the mobile app now.
Ebooks are already there in the mobile app. You can make the notes in the ebooks. You can listen the ebooks. You can all the audio clippings are there in the ebook, and which will definitely help you in gaining the concepts, in understanding the concepts in the quick and easy manner, in the convenient manner.
Mohammed wants to know the how to manage the time in the accounting paper. We have already
guided you about how to manage the time. First of all, you should be very clear about the questions you have to attempt, and then you can, I think you can manage time while attempting the questions. For each and every question, you have to give not more than 25-26 minutes. Try to give 25 minutes. Even if it's one particular question, you may take 30-35 minutes, then it's also okay, because we have 5 questions which are to be attempted out of in 3 hours time span. But still, on the conservatism approach, considering the conservative approach, we want to take less time for the initial questions, because initially we will attempt those questions which we are most comfortable with,
so that we can save the time.
So that we can save the time for the remaining questions which we are not very sure of, which we are not very comfortable with.
Akash wants to know, ma'am, do I need to cover the previous year papers along with the study material and RTP?
It's better if you can. It's better if you can. If you have time, so if you have sufficient time, you have done, you have studied the concept, then it's better to revise your concept and practice as many questions as you can. Definitely more and more solving more and more examination question papers in stimulated examination conditions will definitely boost up your confidence, and that will gain you more clarity while writing the answers in the examination. You should know how to write the answers in the examination also. We have already told you about these things, and we will be devoting more time for this. But we are answering the general queries right now, no? Priyanka is asking
for the rough sheet. It is always advisable to use the last working sheet, no?
Last page of the sheet, or last, even if you want to use, you can give 2 pages. Last 2 pages, you can give the heading of the rough work, and then you can proceed accordingly. I missed a part of a question. In case you missed a part of a question and then you start a separate question, then though it's a problem, because generally it's not. I don't think such type of situations, in such type of situations, the questions will be evaluated. It's always better to leave a space of about half a page or 1 page, about half a page or quarter of a page after each and every part, and you make it a habit that you study the question paper carefully, so that this skipping of a part of a particular question is avoided. Please do not do this, because this may hamper the entire working of your solutions, and this will give you the complete wastage of time, as well as you will lose marks. If the other part, whatever part you have left earlier, you attempt at the later stage of time, and after some attempting the other questions, you may not get marks of that particular part.
Arnav wants to know where he can find the Saransh.
Saransh is there. We will show you right now. We will show you on the
At the end, we will show you.
You can also, at the end, we will show you. In fact, Saransh is basically the quick referencer of all the accounting standards. So in Saransh, you may get confused because there are all accounting standards which are covered in paper 1 and paper 5. You have to select the particular accounting standard. In the knowledge section, in the BoS knowledge section also, you can refer the quick referencer. In paper 1, under paper 1, you will get the quick referencer. So all the accounting standards have been summarized under quick referencer also. You can refer that also. Saransh, we will also tell you where it is there.
There are mostly the general queries which are related to the attemptation of the paper.
So I think we have discussed the structure of the question paper. You are familiar with the pattern of the questions which are being asked in the examination. From which particular topic, which type of question will be asked in the examination, that also we have covered. Like from which particular topic 10 marks or 12 marks question will be asked, and which particular topic 20 marks question will be asked. The most important topic in this paper 1 accounting curriculum is company accounts, because from that particular topic you will get, from that particular section you will be having 40 to 45 marks questions in the examination. So out of 125 marks, the question paper generally consists of 125 marks. It is of 120 marks, but 5 marks internal choice is there. So the question consists of 125 marks, out of which you are required to attempt 100 marks. And out of 125 marks, section 4, that is of company accounts, carries 45 marks weightage. So see the significance. And this is section 1, where the weightage we are saying is 5 to 15%. The weightage is 5 to 15%, and the question is being asked around for 30 marks from this particular section, section 1, which is of accounting standards. Then we have section 2. The weightage of this particular section is 20 to 25%. Section 2, the topics which are being asked in section 2, we have already described that accounting for special transactions are being covered here. In section 3, we have the weightage of 20 to 25%. That is again 30 to 35 marks question may be asked from this particular topic, section 2 as well as section 3. And in section 4, we have company accounts, 30 to 35% weightage, and the marks I have told you, around 45 marks questions will be asked from this particular section. So the most important section is section 4, and then second most important section is section 1, where you will be asked a mandatory compulsory question on accounting standards. So this we are not going to summarize much, because we know what is application analysis, what is comprehension and knowledge. Comprehension and knowledge means a theoretical based question based on the concept involved in a particular topic or the provision involved in a particular accounting standards. And what is application based question? Application based question is basically involving the application of the concept or the provision of the accounting standards while drafting an answer. Maybe the question in the question paper, you will be given a particular scenario or a situation where you will be asked to give the judgment of a particular situation as per the accounting standard, or maybe asked to apply the concepts while preparing the financial statements, while writing the journal entries, while giving the ledger postings. So all these aspects will be covered in that particular section. Accounting standards are 8, which are clearly given in your syllabus. That is AS1, AS2, AS3, AS10, 11, 12 and 13. AS13 is very important. AS16, AS13 is very important because you have a separate chapter, chapter 12 on investments, where you will be using the concept of AS 13 also. And the other accounting standards also are important because in AS 11 we use the concept of AS 11 while working the problems of foreign branches. So it means that for that particular topic, when we read the accounting standard, when we understand the accounting standard, then for that particular topic, the accounting standard is significant. But for the interconnected topics also, the accounting standards are to be studied along with the particular chapter. So the importance of Schedule 3, we know for preparation of financial statements of companies. You would like to focus the importance of Schedule 3?
I think we have already concluded now.
Okay. But this question is 20 marks question and this is very important to be understood because for a 20 marks
All the
question,
companies based chapters now, for the companies based portion, wherever required, you have to prepare the financial statement in Schedule 3 format only.
so we can skip. Now I think we would come on the accounting standards, how to study the paras of accounting standards, how to understand the accounting standards. Students generally ask, is it necessary to refer the bare text of the accounting standards? It is necessary, not necessary, but it's always advised to read it once because we have already summarized the accounting standards in our chapter 3. But still, if you can read along the bare text of accounting standards, that will definitely help you in understanding the concepts. How you will read the accounting standards, bare text of accounting standards. Generally, the accounting standards are huge and we get afraid of while reading the standards provisions. You can read only those paras which are bold and italics and then apply the provisions through examples. You can also practice the illustrations on these accounting standards which are being given in the study material. Also, as we have mentioned that we have MTP, suggested answers, and RTPs where you can get the sufficient number of questions based on each and every topic based on accounting standards also. So after understanding the provisions of the accounting standards, you're advised to refer, you're advised to solve the questions based on the practical application of the same. These are the accounting standards which are relevant for you. In company accounts, Chapter 4, you can have the problem on effective capital. You can have the problem on managerial remuneration besides preparation of financial statements.
And cash flow statement.
And cash flow statement is another unit of preparation of financial statements. Unit 2, where you can have a 15 marks question or 10 marks question depending upon the requirement of whatever requirement is being given to you in the question. So cash flow statement, you are comfortable with how to solve the question based on cash flow. What are the 3 categories of the activities? Operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities. How to solve the questions accordingly. However, from this particular topic, profit or loss pre and post incorporation, generally the question is being asked for not more than 8 marks. But previously, it has happened in recent times only, around in 22 examination, that there was a question on this particular topic for 20 marks. So that is the reason we are saying you again and again, then do not skip any particular topic. This topic is not so significant that a 20 marks question will be asked on this particular topic. But certain times it may be the possibility that a question may be asked for 20 or 16 marks on this particular topic because it has happened in the recent examinations only. For bonus issue also, the question will be asked for 4 or 5 marks, not more than that. But still the chances are there that the question may be asked for 8 marks. You have to be very, very thorough with the provisions of the Companies Act regarding bonus issue. And you will be asked to prepare the journal entries as required in the question. Redemption of preference shares and redemption of debentures are more or less a little bit you can say are of same topics. However, the provisions of the Companies Act for both of the topics are entirely different. You have to understand the provisions of the Companies Act for the redemption of preference shares, when the company can do the redemption. Unless the shares are not fully part of the company, cannot go for the redemption of preference shares. So the question may sometimes confuse you by mentioning certain things that the shares are partly paid up or certain like things, and the question may be asking you to prepare the journal entries. Then you have to see to it that first of all the shares are to be made fully paid up, then only can you even go for redemption of those shares. These are the methods which are being given in the study material. And moreover, generally what happens whenever the question is being asked from this particular topic, we forget to transfer the nominal value of the preference shares redeemed to the capital redemption reserve. So these are the basic concepts. These are the basic things which we should remember while passing the entries, while giving the entries for the for such type of question. The question may not ask you. The question may not ask you to give to transfer the amount of the nominal value of the shares redeemed to the CRR. But you have to remember it yourself, because this is the provision of the Companies Act where it is necessary to transfer the amount of the face value of shares redeemed to the capital redemption reserve. In redemption of debentures, as I had told you, that there are certain requirement of creating DRR. You have to remember this. This type of notes you can prepare for your examination. And these type of notes you can brush up while just 2 or 3 days before the examination, like you were saying earlier, that what kind of what exactly we should proceed for revising just before the examination. So all unlisted companies which are NBFCs registered with RBI, they are not required to prepare any DRR. But other than these companies, all companies unlisted which are required to prepare 10% of DRR of the value of outstanding debentures issued. So this is regarding investment account chapter, where AS13, if we have already prepared AS13 in thoroughly, then we are not supposed to go for valuation of investment in detail. We can just solve the practical problems given in the chapter. Besides preparing for the chapter, besides preparing for AS13, when you are preparing AS13, you can also practice the questions given in chapter 12. Side by side, you can prepare that particular topic also, because otherwise, if you prepare chapter 3 before, AS13 beforehand, and then you start preparing for chapter 12 after few days, then you will definitely lose the interest, chapter 9. It is not chapter 12, it is chapter 9. Then you will definitely lose the connect in between the topics. So it's always advised to read chapter 11 to practice chapter
along with the accounting
along with the same accounting standard. Like in font branch, you can refer AS11 along with the branch topic chapter 13. And in investment account chapter 9, you can refer along with AS
and AS3
13.
along with the unit 2 of the chapter 4.
Yeah, AS3 cash flow statement along with the unit 2 of chapter 4. Because the concepts are same, the problems are same, so it's always advised to.
So it will automatically cover your accounting standards along with your chapters.
Definitely. The chapters may have more number of practical problems. There may be in accounting standard portion, you will be having the small problem of 5 marks. But when you come to the chapter, connected chapter, you will get number of problems which will be based for more than 10 marks or 12 marks. In investment accounting, there is a very important concept, very significant concept of reclassification of investment. And generally, the students are not able to solve the question for this particular specification. When the question paper asks the question about the reclassification of investment, the students are not familiar with the reclassification. So it's always advised to read the theory also, not only skip to the practical problems and start solving the practical problems, but you have to understand the concepts of and the theory also you have to be very familiar with. how to reclassify the investment from current category to long term and long term to current.
At what cost they will be transferred?
At what value they will be transferred. Insurance claim for loss of stock and loss of profit. In loss of stock, there is no such significant formulas, or there is only one concept which is applied is average clause over here. But the problems involving the loss, this is simple problem where the question will be asked for 6 to 8 marks. However, the loss of profit, under loss of profit, there are number of terminologies which you are supposed to be familiar with. How the loss of profit is to be computed, how the standing charges are to be computed, and then the calculation of loss of profit is to be arrived at. These all the terms you have to be very familiar with. I think this we are comfortable with these terms. We can skip to straightforward. There are certain amendments also which I would like to refer. You know that September 21 edition is relevant for May 23 examination, and there has been amendment in chapter 3 unit 1 where the applicability of accounting standards to non-corporate entities has been modified. A new category of entities has been introduced. A new category of entity, that is micro level entities, has been introduced. So chapter 3 unit 1 has been thoroughly updated and uploaded on the BoS knowledge portal. So if you do not have edition of September 21, you are advised to refer the uploaded chapter on this, where the classification of the entities have been based, where the classification of non-corporate entities for the application of accounting standards has been based on the criteria of turnover and borrowings. If the entity is having a turnover of more than 250 crores and borrowings of more than 50 crores, then all the accounting standards will be applicable to that particular entity. It will be considered as a level 1 entity. And under level 2 entity, which is a medium sized entity, there any entity which is having the turnover of 50 crore, more than 50 crore, but less than 250 crore, and for borrowing, the amount is more than 10 crore, but less than 50 crores. So it should be more than 10 crore, but less than 50 crores. Now, the one question which generally comes by the students is, if any entity is fulfilling any of the requirement, either turnover or borrowing, then will it be classified as level 2 or level 3? Because for level 3 and level 4, there are the limits which have been specified. Or both the criteria should be fulfilled. So it is to be made very clear that if any entity is fulfilling any of the criteria, suppose the entity is having turnover of 260 crores, then also it will be called as level 1, even if the borrowing is less than 50 crores. So if particular entity is having the borrowing of 40 crore, but turnover of 260 crore, then it will be classified as level 1 entity. And the other parameters are hardly material for that particular purpose. We cannot say, that entity cannot say that the accounting standards will not be applicable to me because I am not fulfilling the borrowing criteria. So these 4 classifications and what are the exemptions which are being provided to level 2, level 3 and level 4 entities are very clearly mentioned in the applicability of accounting standards unit 1 under chapter 3. So now coming back to the provisions of the, and one more thing, schedule 3 has been updated, that has also been that has also been uploaded in the revised chapter 4, and I think we are very familiar with that. That current maturities of long-term debt are now shown under short-term borrowings. Earlier, that we were used to show that under current liabilities. So, for giving more effective tips to solve the question in the examination, we will be covering the examination tips now.
Because generally queries are related to the examination and temptation.
And many of the students are not able to, even if they know the answers, they know how to solve the questions, they are very thorough with the topics, but still while writing the answers in the examination, they are not able to complete the paper in the prescribed time period. Either they fail to solve the questions, or they give the answer not in the required manner. So it's very important to give the answers in the prescribed manner, which is being required by the evaluators, which is being are the ideal solutions. As we told you that for an operation, for converting the assets and liabilities of integral for an operation and non-integral for an operation, we have to refer the provisions of AS 11. Now come back to the strategy. You have to acquaint yourself with the syllabus. We have already mentioned you how to assimilate the knowledge inputs provided by us. We now we are having sufficient number of questions. We can have MTPs, we can have RTPs, we can have suggested answers.
And
MTPs are very important.
LVCs, which we have provided through mobile app.
The live classes are also there, and there are sufficient number of questions with eminent faculties in the live classes are taking for your practice. You have to plan your studies in such a manner that at least 2 rounds of revision can be there. But now I think the time is short, so we do not know the exact status of your preparation. You have to practice sufficient number of questions, and you have to prepare reasonable notes, which you can refer at the later point of time of your revisions. While attempting a theory question, you have to understand the requirement of the question. First of all, you have to read what is being asked in the question, and then only you have to write the answer. However, I will say that in accounting paper, the theory questions are not exactly straightforward theory questions which are being asked in the examination.
These are the application based.
These may be based on the application of certain concept which is being asked in the questions. So maybe like true and false question may be asked. So under true and false question also, it may appear to you like a theory question, but it is not a theory question. You have to understand the concept, and then you have to validate the answer by mentioning whether it's correct or not, and if it's not correct, then what should be the correct answer. So all these type of answers can be part of your practice. You can practice these questions also while going through the practical questions, not by solving, but at least you can read these questions.
Arnav is asking, are there many amendments for accounts in May 23 examination?
No, in paper 1 there are not much amendments. The major amendments which we have already covered, applicability of accounting standards to non-corporate entities, and Schedule 3 amendment that we have already given in our RTP also. And that is very that has also been incorporated in the September 21 edition, because both these amendments took place before that, and the minor amendments which we have already covered in the RTP, but they will not affect any of your answers. Study material 2021 edition is applicable for you, and RTP suggested answer mock test papers we have already told you. We are again and again emphasizing on that you have to attempt RTPs, you have to solve the questions given the suggested answers, you have to solve the mock test papers, but do take it seriously and do not take it in a lighter manner. You try to attempt these questions, and then only you will gain the confidence, because accounting is such a subject which can really help you in getting in scoring good marks, and you can clear the group by having great score in this paper. And for academic updates, you can refer Student Journal and our live classes. Our live classes are really good. You can see these classes. However, if you have any friends who are going to appear for November 23 examinations, the classes have already started and you ask your friends to watch these classes to understand the concepts from these classes and practice the topics along with these classes. You can go along with these classes so that at the time of examination, your topics is completely prepared.
Mohammed is asking again and again, please advise previous questions and study material is good to go. We already mentioned, you should go with the study material and RTPs and suggested answer. It will be very helpful for you.
Mohammed, what has happened to you? Either you do not want to go to the study material or you have already done so many times the study material that you are quite comfortable with all the types of questions given in the study material. So if this is the case, it's well and good. You cannot, you can go for the fresh questions, but otherwise it's always advised to attempt the questions given in the study material. Previous
I think
examination,
he has prepared again and again. Lots of the material he has read.
maybe he has already prepared so many times, so now the questions are becoming boring to him and maybe quite familiar. But I really doubt that you have attempted so many times. Please advise previous question study material is good to go. Accounting standard, I find it difficult to memorize. Can you give tips for how to approach AS? In accounting standards, you have to understand the provisions of the accounting standards. If you are not remembering each and every provision, it hardly matters. Do not remember just the concept. You can just understand the concept of the accounting standards. Disclosure requirements, you need not bother much because in theory questions on disclosure generally is not being asked in the paper 1. And even if it's being asked in paper 5, generally the disclosure based questions may be asked but not in paper 1. Only regarding the accounting treatment, you may be familiar with the standard provisions. Like in AS1, whatever the provisions are given, you can understand that concept. And there are small practical problems. There are very small problems which are being given in the study material itself. If you read those illustrations, if you understand those illustrations, I think you will understand the accounting standard in a convenient manner. But still, if you are facing any difficulty in understanding the accounting standards, you can read the quick references, you can read Saransh, and then you can, any of the query if you have from the particular topic of accounting standards, because I know that accounting standards are new to you. In paper 1, you have started studying the accounting standards. So definitely the standards, sometimes the language of the standards is such that you are not able to get through. Believe us that we have tried to make it very simple for you and by explaining it in very easy language in the chapter of application of accounting standards. We have made it short so that you can understand we have tried to cover through flowcharts or diagrammatic presentations. But wherever you are finding any para which you are not able to understand, you please send us your query at accounting-inter@ica.in and we will be resolving. And mobile app, if you have also downloaded a mobile app, you can ask your query. You can send your query in the ask your query section under mobile app, and we are answering all those queries in a very short span of time under mobile app. So you should study all the accounting standards or topics in integrated manner, as we have already explained. And the objective should be to gain ability in working scenario, because the theory based question will not be asked from any of the accounting standards or any of the topics. If a question will be asked, that will be either a purely application based question or a purely practical problem. So this, I think, you will be more interested in knowing
how to improve marks.
How to improve marks. We have told you that first write the answer which you know the best and attempt all the subparts of a question in one place. Many of the students, as we have already received queries from many of the students, it's very surprising that they were not aware that they have to attempt, either they are attempting the questions they are attempting the exam for the first time, they have not seen the answer sheet, because it's a very clear-cut instruction given in the answer sheet itself that you have to attempt all the subparts of a question at one place, and the writing should be neat, it should be eligible, it should be clear to the reader. All assumptions and working notes should form part of the answer. Disclosures wherever are necessary to be provided, they should be all disclosed. It means any assumptions, any working notes, they should be clearly given as part of your answer because that will carry marks. Sometimes we understand, many of the students say that even if our answer was correct, we did not provide working notes, but why the marks were being deducted? Because my final answer was purely correct. I matched our answer with the suggested answer and that was the same one. फिर मेरा marks क्यों गया? लेकिन वो प्रॉपर फॉर्मेट नहीं देखते जो हमने सजेस्टेड आंसर में फॉर्मेट दिया है उससे अगर आपका आंसर मैच नहीं करता तो आपको मार्क्स नहीं मिलेगा. वर्किंग नोट्स के भी मार्क्स होते हैं. ऑल द वर्किंग नोट्स, इफ देयर आर 6 or 7 वर्किंग नोट्स गिवन इन माय आंसर, गिवन इन सजेस्टेड आंसर्स, so each and every working note carry a particular mark which is being assigned to it depending upon its significance. So you will definitely lose marks if you do not abide by this requirement, if you do not give adequate working notes. And working notes should be given as part of the main answer. ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि working notes हमने rough में बना दिए, अब वो evaluator जो है वो वहां से
नीट एंड क्लीन ना रीडेबल होना
it
चाहिए.
should be readable. आपका working
दैट्स व्हाई हम हमेशा कहते हैं कि आप सजेस्टेड आंसर स्टडी मटेरियल में देखें. सेम हम फॉर्मेट में ही आपको आंसर देंगे तो यू विल गेट मोर मार्क्स.
वर्किंग नोट्स जो है वो आपके आंसर का ही पार्ट है. दे आर नॉट रफ कैलकुलेशंस. फॉर रफ कैलकुलेशंस यू कैन राइट द rough work as a heading and then you can do the rough calculations. This is regarding how to prepare notes, as many of the students were asking how to revise the concept, how to do the revision in 1 or 2 days before the examination. For that, you can translate your knowledge into notes, but this should not be happening now. This should have been happened at least 5 or 6 months before the examination, when you are doing the first round of your study, when you are doing the thorough study, then you can prepare the notes. At this point of time, so I don't think you will have that much of time that you can prepare the notes. You can just revise whatever you have, if you have prepared, or you can just refer our quick references. You may also prepare diagrams in support. That was basically the time which has passed. At later stage of preparation, you would be revising these notes and these flowcharts or diagrams which you have prepared for your convenience. But I would say that our quick references are there for almost all the topics, and your work has been done by us up to a certain extent. Definitely, if one self does the preparation of notes, then he is more thorough, he is more comfortable with while reading it at a later stage of time, because he has himself done the groundwork. But still, we have done it for you, and you are advised to refer the quick references that will definitely help you in revising at this point of time. How to manage time in the examination?
How to manage time? As we have clearly already mentioned you, the 15 minutes is already provided to you. So make the optimum utilization of the 15 minutes for reading. Go through all the questions quickly and then select the question that would we be attempting from all the questions, and then mark the question which you will be attempting the first. So the optimum utilization of the 15 minutes will help you to scoring the more marks. And then allocate the estimated time for each questions based on the difficulty level and marks carried, keeping aside at least for the minimum 10 to 15 minutes for revision. While writing the answer in commensurate with the marks with the question carries, answer should be precise and to the point.
Now one student is asking that if we are not able to select the questions, what should we do? For this, what will be the answer given? But if you are not able to select the questions, then it is basically there is something lacking.
That means you have
Your
no
preparation
preparation
is not up to date. Your preparation is not sufficient. You have to
I think जब आपने अच्छे से पढ़ा होता है while reading the question paper ना, automatically आपका mind आपको बता देता है कि हाँ, I have read this, I can attempt this question, then you can mark it, this is good. और while reading you can also find कि ये वाला तो मुझे concept clear है ही नहीं, तो आप उसे ऑप्शन में ऑलरेडी पहले ही सिलेक्ट कर सकते हैं कि ये मुझे नहीं करना है।
एक्चुअली मुझे लगता है कि जितना हमने प्रैक्टिस ज्यादा किया होता है तो क्वेश्चंस हमें फैमिलियर लगते हैं, लेकिन जब हमने अगर टॉपिक पढ़ा भी है, समझ भी लिया, लेकिन हमने उसका प्रैक्टिस नहीं किया सफिशिएंट, तो जब क्वेश्चन पेपर में हम देखते हैं तो हमें ऐसा लगता है तो नया सा क्वेश्चन है, तो मुझे नहीं आता, ये पता नहीं कहाँ से ले लिया पेपर सेटर ने, ये स्टडी
ये तो
मटेरियल
बड़ा
का तो है
टफ
ही नहीं।
क्वेश्चन है, बड़ा लेंथी पेपर है,
एक्चुअली
हम कैसे अटेम्प्ट करेंगे? तो वो जो पैनिक अटैक होता है, वो डर होता है, इसलिए क्योंकि हमारी प्रिपरेशन पूरी है ही नहीं, हमने उस पर वो ध्यान दिया ही नहीं है, हमने रिवीजन किया ही नहीं है। तो अभी आपके पास टाइम है, आप अभी सफिशिएंट टाइम है, अच्छे से पढ़ सकते हैं, कर सकते हैं। तो अपनी स्टडी पे ध्यान दीजिए, नेगेटिव चीजों से सबसे दूर रहिए। एक बच्चे ने क्वेश्चन, समवन हैज आस्क्ड हाउ टू काम during these exam days. For calming your mind and your body, do regular exercise, आप अपनी बैलेंस डाइट लीजिए, प्रॉपर आप ब्रेक लीजिए, जितने भी आपके इंटरनेट्स हैं, वेब्स हैं, सबसे दूर रहिए। डिस्ट्रैक्शंस जितने भी हैं, चाहे वो डिस्ट्रैक्शन आपका नेट के थ्रू है, चाहे आपके फैमिली के थ्रू, चाहे आपके फ्रेंड के थ्रू, who is giving the negative thought or any thought which are giving you the low energy, so please avoid that situation, that person, that thing.
इनफैक्ट अगर आपको ब्रेक लेना है, इफ यू वांट टू टेक अ ब्रेक, लाइक ब्रेक आप लीजिए, लेकिन आप जब 10-15 मिनट्स का ब्रेक लेते हैं तो आप पार्क या किसी मतलब ग्रीन ग्रीन के कांटेक्ट में
ब्रेक का
आइए,
मतलब ये नहीं है
ट्रीज
यू
को
गो टू
देखिए,
द फेसबुक, इंस्टाग्राम या शॉपिंग, नो। ये
आप
आपकी
पार्क में चले
एनर्जी
जाएं।
को, ये आपकी एनर्जी को कंज्यूम कर, आपकी एनर्जी को फिर आपको डाउन कर रहे हैं। आपको अपनी एनर्जी फिर से एनहेंस करनी है। देन फॉर ब्रेक यू कैन डू एक्सरसाइज, योगा, ब्रीथिंग, प्राणायाम, और इवन यू कैन, आप पावर नैप ले सकते हैं।
हाँ, मतलब स्टिल ये है कि आप ये मत कीजिए कि इंटरनेट के थ्रू ही आप कहीं ना कहीं जा रहे हैं, व्हाट्सएप देख रहे हैं, मैसेजेस चेक कर रहे हैं, आप अपना जी फेसबुक पे चले गए, तो क्योंकि उस वो बेसिकली वो आपका ब्रेक नहीं है, वहां तो आपका माइंड यूज हो ही रहा है, आपका माइंड जो है वो स्टडी को छोड़ के किसी और काम में यूज हो रहा है। इससे अच्छा आप मेडिटेशन कीजिए, योगा कीजिए, नेचर के कांटेक्ट में आइए, अगर हो सकता है पार्क आपके सामने है तो
खेल
आप
लीजिए, आप किसी से बातें कर लीजिए, वो बातें जो आपको अच्छी लगी, ऐसी नहीं डर वाली नहीं, मेरी प्रिपरेशन नहीं हुई, मुझे आता नहीं है, वो आपको और लो करेंगी। नहीं, आप अपने आप को
स्ट्रेस लेवल दूर
स्ट्रेस
करने
लेवल से दूर करना है, आपको खुश होना है, चाहे उसके लिए आपको जैसा भी करना पड़े।
पर लेकिन एक्चुअली प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि अब टाइम कम है और कोर्स ज्यादा है, तो थोड़ा सा एंग्जाइटी इसलिए भी हो रहा है बच्चों को, जो मुझे लग रहा है जितना मतलब
क्वेरीज के हिसाब से हमें पता लगा है मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स ने अभी तक एक कंप्लीट राउंड ऑफ स्टडीज
हाँ,
नहीं
मतलब
किया है।
अगर ऐसा है तो इसका मतलब प्रिपरेशन उनका ठीक नहीं है, द प्रिपरेशन इज नॉट सेटिस्फैक्ट्री, तो दैट इज व्हाई दे आर फीलिंग मोर स्ट्रेसफुल एंड दे आर अंडर स्ट्रेस राइट नाउ, क्योंकि नाउ द टाइम इज।
समवन आस्क्ड कि उन्होंने बोथ ग्रुप में से वन ग्रुप की प्रिपरेशन की है, देन हाउ टू गो फॉर द अनदर ग्रुप। जब आपने ग्रुप एक ही प्रिपेयर किया तो सेकंड का तो आपके पास ऑप्शन ही नहीं है ना। जो टाइम है उस टाइम को मैनेज कीजिए, उसके अकॉर्डिंग टाइम टेबल बनाइए। अगर आपने सेकंड ग्रुप का कुछ भी नहीं पढ़ा है तो आई थिंक यू शुड
Now
अवॉइड
it's
दिस।
not time to make any decision for the second group. आप फर्स्ट ग्रुप पे ही फोकस कीजिए, उसी की तैयारी कीजिए और ट्राई कि आप उसमें ही अच्छा स्कोर करें। आप जो आपके सब्जेक्ट, आपके जो आपको लगता है कि जहाँ पे आपकी प्रिपरेशन कम है, जैसे अगर आपको लग रहा है कि अकाउंट्स में आपकी प्रिपरेशन का लेवल अभी कम है, मे बी बाकी सब्जेक्ट में आपका लेवल अच्छा है, तो आप थोड़ा सा अकाउंट्स को ज्यादा टाइम दे दीजिए। लॉ लॉ आप बाकी सब्जेक्ट दे दीजिए, लॉ है, टैक्स है, आपका कितना प्रिपरेशन का वहां पे लेवल है।
यत भावो तत भवति, दैट मीन्स you become what you think about yourself. So think you are very active, you are very energetic, you are always happy. Then when you think about this ना, तो ऑटोमेटिकली आपका एनर्जी का लेवल हाई होगा, आप मोटिवेटिव होंगे, और अपने ड्रीम्स को आपको चेज करना है, अपने ड्रीम से भागना ही नहीं। आपका ड्रीम है यू हैव टू बिकम अ सीए, तो सीए बनने के लिए आपको अपना ड्रीम फॉलो करना है। आपको अपने माइंड को इस तरीके से आइडियाज देने, उसे इतना कल्टीवेट करना है कि आप उस सीए एग्जाम को, अपनी ड्रीम को क्लियर कर सके, आप उसे पा सके। आपका सपना यही होना चाहिए। उस सपने को पूरा करने के लिए आप क्या कर सकते हैं, वो आपको करना ही है।
ड्रीम पूरा करने के लिए मेहनत तो करना पड़ेगा, ये नहीं हो सकता देयर इज नो इजी वे
कोई
आउट।
शॉर्टकट नहीं है, कोई शॉर्टकट नहीं है। स्टूडेंट्स बार बार पूछ रहे, नहीं इवन आप एक चैप्टर बता दीजिए जो हम स्किप कर सकें।
कोई भी ऐसा चैप्टर नहीं है
कोई
जो हम आपको
चैप्टर
बता
नहीं
सकते।
है, कोई भी चैप्टर नहीं है, कोई शॉर्टकट नहीं है।
हालांकि
आप
डिफिकल्टी है, चार्ट मतलब ओवरऑल कोर्स ही डिफिकल्ट है। इनफैक्ट अगर मैं कहें कि जैसे आप शुरुआती लेवल पे आप इंटरमीडिएट कर रहे हैं, शुरुआत में आपको डिफिकल्ट लगती है चीजें, बट स्टिल ये है कि अगर आप विलिंगनेस है करने की कोशिश करेंगे तो सब हो जाएगा। ऐसा कौन सा रास्ता है जो डिफिकल्ट नहीं है। हर रास्ते पे कठिनाइयां हैं, बट स्टिल इफ यू वांट टू अचीव दैट पर्टिकुलर ड्रीम यू विल डेफिनेटली अचीव.
Always remember your dreams and fight for them.
डेफिनेटली.
और जब आप अपने सपनों को डेली सुबह शाम याद करेंगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली आप उसे पाने के लिए मेहनत करेंगे. बिना मेहनत के कुछ नहीं है. ये कंसेप्ट अपने दिमाग से निकाल दीजिए कि हमें शॉर्टकट मिलेगा या हमको स्किप करेंगे. नहीं, जो करना है अभी करना है, इसी टाइम में करना है.
अगर कोई
अब आपने डिसीजन ले लिया है कि आपको फर्स्ट ग्रुप में जाना है तो सेकंड ग्रुप को बिल्कुल भूल जाइए. फर्स्ट ग्रुप पे फोकस कीजिए. जितने चैप्टर्स हैं आपके पास, जितने आपके पास सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, टाइम को उसके अकॉर्डिंगली डिवाइड कीजिए. आप यू कैन जज योर सेल्फ बेटर देन अस ना, कि आपका किस सब्जेक्ट में ज्यादा कमेंट है, कि आप थ्योरेटिकल में ज्यादा अच्छे हैं या प्रैक्टिकल में.
जिस
जो
सब्जेक्ट में
सब्जेक्ट में आप
ज्यादा
वीक हैं
वहां पे
उसके लिए आप
focus.
अभी थोड़ा टाइम ज्यादा डिवोट कीजिए. और बाकी जिसमें आपका गुड है तो आप उसका रिवीजन, डेली रिवीजन बहुत जरूरी है. जो आज आपने पढ़ा है आप उसे कल भी रिवाइज कीजिए, परसों भी रिवाइज कीजिए. उसके बाद 3-4 दिन बाद फिर से रिवाइज कीजिए. जितना आप उसी टाइम आप साथ साथ आप ये मत सोचिए कि आपको आज जो आपने पढ़ा है आप उसे एग्जाम डे में जाके रिवाइज करेंगे. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होगा. आज जो आपने पढ़ा है आप उसे कल भी रिवाइज कीजिए. आज आपने जिस टॉपिक को पढ़ने में 1 घंटा लगाया है, कल उसको रिवाइज करने में आपको 30 मिनट या 20 मिनट लगेंगे. नेक्स्ट डे रिवाइज करने में अब आपको पता है आपको सिर्फ रिवाइज करना है, आपको 20 मिनट्स लगेंगे. उसके बाद 15 मिनट्स. डेली का जब आप रिवाइज करेंगे तो आपको एग्जाम डे में ये टेंशन नहीं रहेगा कि मेरा रिवीजन नहीं हुआ है. आप तो डेली रिवीजन कर रहे हैं, हर टॉपिक की रिवीजन कर रहे हैं. तो प्रिपेयर योर टाइम टेबल अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस प्लान, कि किस सब्जेक्ट में आपकी कमांड अच्छी है, किसमें आपको लग रहा है और मेहनत की जरूरत है.
कितने आवर्स आपको किस पर्टिकुलर पेपर के लिए डिवोट करने हैं, उस हिसाब से आप कीजिए. कोशिश कीजिए कि जैसे अगर आपको लग रहा है कि एक पेपर को पढ़ते पढ़ते आप बग्ड अप हो गए हैं, तो आप एक थ्योरी एक प्रैक्टिकल कॉम्बो रखिए. आप अकाउंट्स के साथ लॉ ले सकते हैं, कॉस्टिंग के साथ आप टैक्सेशन ले लीजिए. टैक्सेशन हाउ प्रैक्टिकल है.
टारगेट आपको फिक्स करना है. इस टारगेट में मुझे कंप्लीट करना है तो करना है. दिन में 24 घंटे हैं, 24 घंटे में से आप कितने घंटे पढ़ सकते हैं ये आपको डिसाइड करना है. आप 12 घंटे निकालेंगे या 18 घंटे निकालेंगे,
पर इफेक्टिव स्टडी शुड बी
इफेक्टिव
देयर.
स्टडी होनी चाहिए. और उन घंटों के बीच में आप लगातार कितनी देर बैठेंगे, आपको कितनी देर के बाद ब्रेक लेना है, ये सब आपको टाइम प्लान करना पड़ेगा. और जब आप ये प्लानिंग आपकी ऐसी होगी और रिवीजन साथ साथ चलेगी तो आपको ऐसा लगेगा मक्खन की तरह आपका जो सी का ये ग्रुप है ये इजिली निकल गया. और फर्स्ट अकाउंट्स का पेपर क्लियर होने के बाद जो एक
कॉन्फिडेंस
ग्रुप
बढ़
दे रहे हैं
जाता है.
उनके लिए वो कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ जाएगा दूसरे ग्रुप देने का. और जो दोनों ग्रुप दे रहे हैं उनके लिए तो और इजी है, क्योंकि अकाउंटिंग सब्जेक्ट आपको एक साथ आपके 200 मार्क्स आप कवर कर रहे हैं, तो दोनों ग्रुप के लिए इजी रहेगा. लेकिन अपना मोटिवेशन, अपना कॉन्फिडेंस कहीं लूज नहीं करना है. आपको कभी भी ऐसा लगे, यू कैन कॉन्टेक्ट BOS. वी आर ऑलवेज फॉर यू. वी आर एज अ गुरु हेयर टू होल्ड योर हैंड्स and help you to clear your thoughts and always keep you activated and your positivity in the mind.
Energized. You should always remain energized while working out for the problems and while planning for the examination, while preparing for the examination. You should never lose your confidence, your patience, your calm, your energy levels, so that you can really achieve what you want to achieve. That should be your goal actually. At this point of time, we will not say that you go back. You should have done that. That is not possible
गो
now.
बैक का कोई रास्ता नहीं है. जो है सामने है, आपको उसी पे फॉलो करना है, उसी पे जाना है. और आप सभी वो स्टूडेंट्स बहुत अच्छे हैं जिन्होंने चूज किया है कि आपका ड्रीम है और आप सबको पाना है और आप वो सब कर सकते हैं. तो इसी के साथ आपको बढ़ना है. मेन आपका ये कि जितने भी हमें क्वेरीज समझ में आई हैं कि सबको एग्जाम में अटेम्प्ट करने में प्रॉब्लम हो रही है.
शॉर्ट में जो जितना लगा बच्चों की बातों से वो यही है कि स्टूडेंट्स को अभी क्लैरिटी नहीं है कि एक तो पेपर कैसे करना है. जो उनको ये समझ नहीं आ पाया कि हमें टॉपिक क्वेश्चन कैसे सिलेक्ट करना है. उसके लिए सिर्फ यही है कि आपकी प्रैक्टिस अच्छी होनी चाहिए, आपको कॉन्फिडेंस अपने ऊपर और टॉपिक्स, आपकी जो प्रिपरेशन है टॉपिक्स की, उन पे कॉन्फिडेंस होना चाहिए, तभी आप क्वेश्चन सिलेक्ट कर पाएंगे. अदरवाइज यू विल जस्ट वेस्ट टाइम हियर एंड देयर एंड यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू जस्टिफाई विद द your performance in the examination, which we do not
Sometimes
want.
students make mistake while doing the calculator and while carry forward the figures from one page to another page. For example, if I have the figure at the end of the 472, I will carry forward as 427. Then it will completely destroy your answer.
Even while reading the question paper also, sometimes the figure written is 999, and while solving it I may take it 900 or 969. So because under panic, when we are under anxiety, when we are under stress, then while solving the question also we read the figures incorrectly and we take the figures incorrectly in our answers, due to which the entire answers become wrong. It becomes incorrect. So we have to be very careful with the figures, and especially with the calculator also, their hands are not set. They take a new calculator, their hands are not set. So it's always advised that you take the calculator.
Same pen, same calculator. While
Beforehand, you should have it, and you should make your hands habitual of that calculator or pen, so that in the examination you should be quite comfortable. आपका रचा बसा होना चाहिए जो कैलकुलेटर है, आपके हाथों में फिगर्स जो है वो आपके हाथ उस पे सेट होने चाहिए.
avoid negative things, negativity. We have already told you. Once you stop chasing the wrong things, the right things automatically catch you. So be positive, be calm, and try to do right things at the right time, at the right place.
These are all examination tips which we have already mentioned. So do not mention the wrong accounting standard name or number, or the wrong
We will
para.
try to brief all the examination tips within the few span of time.
Within few
within
minutes
2-3
only.
minutes.
Yeah. And you are advised to give all the working notes as part of answer, as we have already emphasized. If there are many approaches to solve a problem, this is basically related to the disclosure part. When we have too many assumptions or 2-3 possible alternative to any particular problem, you have to mention that which particular basis you have adopted for by solving the problem. And you can give your answer, and then you give your note that this particular approach I have considered. If you do not mention the approach, which approach you have considered, that also you may, through that also you may lose marks. In case of questions based on practical application of accounting standards, we have told you substantiate your answer with proper reasoning. Your answer should be supported with adequate reasoning. Then what are the general mistakes which are being committed by the students while writing the examinations, which we have noticed is that in standard based questions, they mention the incorrect PAN number or incorrect name of the standard, incorrect number of the standard itself. They do not substantiate their answer with proper reasoning, and wrong carry forward of the amounts from one page to another, and computational errors. The same thing which we have already mentioned, that by reading the figures from the question, we take some other figures and we do all the calculation based on the wrong figures. Even like 1000, if it's written, we take it as 100, or one, if it is written as 1 lakh, we take it as 10,000. So these type of zero missing or zero adding is generally the common type of errors which are generally being committed by the students while solving the questions in the examination. And regarding format of financial statements, you know that you have to abide by schedule 3.
Schedule 3.
Yeah. And if any amendment is there, you have to take care of that, like whatever there is, that should be reflected in your answers. So these are the general mistakes which the students generally commit, and you have to take care that these type of mistakes are not being committed by you. You should mention all the assumptions, whatever you are taking, and you have to give.
Yes, Supardha, you can underline the important points in answer sheet. You can underline it.
Yeah, you can underline it, but it's not like this that you will gain more marks because of that. You can just highlight whatever you want to highlight, but each and every point, each and every line of your answer will be evaluated whether you underline it or not.
Vishnu asking, can I use the calculator in exams?
Yes, you definitely calculators are allowed
But
in the examination.
It should not be the scientific, na?
It should not be the scientific. It is being clearly mentioned the scientific calculators are not allowed, but all other normal calculators are being allowed in the examination. Generally, the twist in the question put you in difficult situation where you get confused and you are not able to attempt the question anymore. So for that particular thing, again, the practice is important. If you have practiced the questions more, if you have practiced the questions from any particular topic sufficiently, then definitely this type of problem will not occur. And for theory questions or for any other question, disclosure based questions or question based on accounting standards, whatever is being required in the question, you should answer only that particular aspect rather than wasting time on giving the irrelevant details. So do not go for selective study and focus on theoretical or conceptual understanding of each topic for development of your analytical skills. Do adequate practice of practical problems. Be careful while using the information given in the questions. We have already told you whatever information is being given in the question, you have to use it very carefully. Assess your preparation level by attempting the previous year question papers under mock examination conditions. MTPs are really helpful for this particular point. You can attempt those MTPs and you can evaluate your performance. So these are basically the parameters. These are basically the important points.
Asking, in the branch account, we are not using the Schedule 3Y.
Branch accounting, we are assuming that the branch is not a corporate entity. So all
If
the
it is a
questions,
corporate entity and it
then-
is clearly mentioned in the question, then you have to prepare all the statements as per the Schedule 3. If it is not mentioned, then we are assuming it is not a company, it is not a corporate. So you are not required to prepare the financial statements in the Schedule 3 format.
Yeah, that is the only reason in branch accounting we are not giving the question. We are not giving the answers as per Schedule 3. Yeah, the session will be available on YouTube later. And
Yes, Kanishka, this session will also be available on the YouTube.
GST calculator. Mohammed is asking GST calculator.
Mohammed,
GST calculator, I
you
don't
have to use the
understand.
simple calculator. Not go for the high or the scientific or this kind of calculator. Use the simple calculator only.
I think today's session is useful for you, and this will definitely help you in preparing for the examination. But remember always that you have to do more and more practice of practical problems as much as you can, and that is the
Optimum
only
utilization of the remaining time. And be confident you can crack all these exam. And we are always with you. We are always available for you.
you can
BoS
always ask your queries and through mobile app or our mail ID, which many of the students are definitely in examination days. Definitely the number of queries you are asking is more, but we always reply in short span of time, and whatever queries we could answer in today's session we have answered. But generally the students are basically more confused about the preparation strategy and about
attempting
and how to attempt the question paper within the prescribed time limit of 3 hours. So for that, the only mantra is, the success mantra is only the practice of problems. There is no other mantra for this. This is the only mantra which you can apply. And my dear friends, believe me, if you will apply this mantra, you will definitely get success and you will come to us
in every field.
Yeah, and you will come to us with a box of sweets. So thank you for the patient hearing. I hope that you
We have cleared all
your doubts and you have definitely benefited from the session. Thank you and best of luck for
All
your
the best.
examinations.
Thank you.